right, Dave. A rocking Friday night of high school football. There's still games going on. The action's fast and furious. And talking about touchdowns, the Christian High Patriots put up 7 of them tonight out at Mission Bay. We did think that they would be able to handle this one day, but not only did the Patriots handle the Bucks, they came out of there. Everything, I don't want to say everything's fixed yet. We still got some pieces we got to work out. Need some guys healthy, Dave, but you got 2 of the big stars tonight from the game. Jacob Moronis, he had a couple of touchdowns, and also Jake Eichhorst, the man who paves the way for these guys up front with that offensive line. One of the smartest guys, maybe tops in the East County. Dave, thank you for getting these great guests like this right after the game here. It's only been about a half an hour since game time, and we're still wrapping it up. Go ahead, Dave.
That's what we do, and we want to make sure we don't take up their whole night. We want to get the meat and potatoes and let you guys have the rest of your night. But happy to have you guys on, of course. And as Ramon had already just mentioned, Jake Eichhorst, we talked about it before the show went on, and you're taking your SATs in October, which is, like I said, was like tomorrow for MIT. And you got the highest GPA from what I understand, too. Can you enlighten us on that?
Well, MIT's like been one of my dream schools for a long time now. And so the ability to be able to play football there is a huge dream of mine. Like that's something I could hardly even imagine a few years ago. And now here I am.
That's incredible. Not to get into it too much, but try being 50 years old and changing your major and going back to college and doing cybersecurity course. So I feel you there, and I think it's going to be super fun, just like what you're doing. Except for you get to play football too. I don't think I'd last more than 5 minutes now. With that being said, I'm sure Jacob would agree. Tonight, you guys definitely, I don't know what kind of talk you had. I don't know what kind of video or how much film you watched, but definitely a big change from last week. But, I mean, we did, unfortunately, we didn't know the nature completely of the injury at the time, and we didn't know what we were going to do with who at quarterback, and Wilkins came in. Unfortunately, that kind of takes it away from your confidence when you throw a pick. I mean, we're all human. But then to see him throw one today and a lot of those flips that he had today, and then just seeing coach say, you know what, why don't you just go, we're just going to throw the ball. We're going to start throwing the ball. I saw quite a few runs, but you guys let him unleash it a couple of times, and they weren't just little 5-10 yard passes. So that's got to be a lot of trust between Coach Bug and between you guys as teammates. What were you guys saying to him in the huddle?
I mean, it did scare us when he first threw that pick, but I feel like he was getting into it. His first time ever starting a varsity game, so I think he was probably just a little nervous, but he got his confidence back for sure going later into the game. So, I mean, it is what it is. You just got to learn from it.
And, he did it. At least he did it at the very beginning of the game. I mean, let's just get it out of the way. We got 4 quarters basically now, only a couple of ticks off. And then we went down the field rather quickly, and Hank had a 1 yard score. But a lot of running, really a mixture of everything. And then you had 2 scores yourself. Jacob, you had a 3 yard run, and then a little later in the game, you had a 9 yard rushing touchdown. And I don't want to take anything away from any athlete, and then give it all to you or take it away from them. But on some of those tackles, I was like, okay, Jake's busting through those, and your lineman right next to you was helping you with that. And then I also saw some more Mission Bay players coming in, and it's like they were just sliding off like butter, you know,
Yeah.
when you guys were going in there. And we thought, talking it over yesterday, that you guys would match up pretty well, and it'd probably be a not such a close game, but we didn't foresee this coming. Um, Anything special that Coach talked about after or prior to this game and in practice? Anything we were going to do different?
Uh, I mean, just watching film with like them against, I think we knew we were gonna run the ball a lot because, I mean, they can't really stop it, and so yeah, I think we came there and it was good.
And
And
that's where
Coach
you
Kelly's
come
really
in.
smart.
And that's where you come in, Jake. Um, and you can let's give them their credit too. The rest of your line, and a shout out to them, and how that run is not going to happen if there isn't a seam to run.
Yeah, like honestly, I can't give enough credit to all my O linemen out there. Like we knew we had to open up that run to get this game to what it was, and honestly, all the O linemen did a great job today with that. Like every single O lineman knew their jobs, did what they're supposed to, and it turned out great.
I think we just lost Jacob on the connection, Dave. That's also we may get him back. Hopefully, we heard we were cutting him out there. So maybe Max, you could, Jake, you could tell us about some of these plays because the run game was obviously going to be there with Jacob and the guys today. We had, of course, you mentioned the Jacob 2 touchdowns there. We also had Brady with a run there, a 1-yard run. Brady Eads, a touchdown run. Hank Houston with a touchdown run. But I was thrilled to hear about that big play where Hank forced a fumble and Max Turvey recovered it and scored a touchdown. It sounds like one of the highlights of the game. Jake, if you guys could walk me through that, that sounds awesome.
I mean, I
Well,
was on
we
the sideline when that happened, and I seen it. And when the ball came out, I mean, I flipped out. That was a beautiful hit. And then seeing Max score, I was just hype, and that's when I knew the game was closed. Like I knew the game was done. I knew they weren't gonna come back.
Yeah, because it was only 14-7 really for a point there, Dave, in the second quarter before the Patriots started to put up some tallies.
Yeah, and I mean, what I can't even imagine what Max's face looked like after he did pick it up and score. I mean, he had to be smiling from ear to ear, and you probably couldn't wipe it off for probably the next half hour, or probably the whole game.
I mean, I have him right next to me if you want to talk to him.
Oh, God. No. Would you put him on the phone?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How does it feel, Max, to after a hit like that and the ball's theirs for yours for the taking, you get to grab it, and you're seeing daylight. I mean,
Yeah.
that's got to be one of those games where you're like, this is my game. That's my ball. And when you were done with that, how did it feel to be able to score? When usually it's not the special team guy that's picking it up and scoring for your team.
Yeah, it was an amazing feeling. Hank had the hit, and the ball was just right in front of me. Picked it up in open field. The score was right after half, and it really separated the lead against Mission Bay.
Yeah, no doubt, Mac. You've kind of come on my radar here a little bit with a few plays here recently. So, Dave, if you could just, I've got some score coming in. I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead. Please help me out here, brother.
Well, I was just I want to say, especially to Max, that's got to be an incredible feeling. As you probably overheard me, you probably had one of those smiles that were probably at least for a quarter was unable to remove from your face. I mean, playing before myself and watching my son play, those kind of plays last and forever, really. I mean, that's one of those memories that you'll hang on to for quite a while. We had Jake Bronis score, you scored, and then we also had, and then let's not forget Wilkins hitting Marsh for that 30 yarder.
30? Right.
Mason.
And that was there was probably just a little bit of time left in the third when he scored.
Yeah, I think so. I wanted to ask though, Max, about the defensive effort against the Buccaneers, because Dave and I talked about the game and certainly thought it might be a little bit tighter, and I guess it was in the beginning, Max. But what did you guys know about the Buccaneers that really were able? You guys were able to really shut down a team that's kind of known for its offense.
Yeah, we watched a lot of film all week. We prepared really well at practice. We knew they like to throw the ball. We recognized all their pass plays and run plays, and we really shut them out on defense. They didn't score a single point, and they only had 2 first downs in the whole game late in the game when our backups were in. It was a real shutout for defense.
Yeah, and we faced the Bucks, but we faced them before. That we lost to them last year, right?
Yeah, we did week 1.
What do you think the difference was? I mean, look, to me, it looks like although this is great, we're 2-1 now. It still looks like we're still kind of feeling where we're at comparatively to last year. But to get a win like this against Mission Bay after they came on our home field last year, we got these guys on remote. Jake, we're coming back to you. Max, go ahead and give me that feeling there about the difference between last year's Mission Bay game and this year's Mission Bay game, both early in the season, but this is a booster.
Yeah, it's definitely just our team's experience. Last year we were a very young team. It was my first time starting on varsity as a junior. A lot of sophomores and juniors playing that had never played varsity before. But this year we have a more experienced team coming back, and we were a lot more ready to go. We're more prepared this time.
Jake, what do you remember about that last year and maybe the comparison now?
Well, last year I remember that was my first start too, and I think we had 2 returning O linemen in Brooks Harwell and Ryder Jennings, but we were still like very young team. Like still kind of feeling out what was going on. Young quarterback, young team, young all around, and yeah.
Go ahead, your guys there with you up front. You were kind of just touting them a little bit, but you want just name your buddies, Jake.
Well, this year we got Tavin Zawacki at center, me, and today we had Peter Joseph and Jonathan Lama both play left guard, and I was at right guard. And our tackles this year are Asher Murphy at left tackle and Jacob Zaharzik at right tackle, and they all have played great games today.
And comparatively to what you talked about your start last year against Mission Bay, what did that line look like last year with the experience this year? The returning guys, how many of these guys are new, and how do you feel about the way the O-line is meshed compared to that game?
This year we have, I think, just as many new guys starting, but I think our team as a whole has kind of like matured more compared to last year, like all around, like every position, even like new first-time starters today and the past few weeks, like we're all around, I feel more mature and like grown and stronger than we were last year at this point. And week 1 against Mission Bay, like I think we were more prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let everybody know too, and let you know, Ramon. I texted him the other day, and Danny Mitchell is or Coach Mitchell. He is a Patriot for life because he's always asking about the guys and how they played, and looking at what we write or what he see if he doesn't have time to see it. Some of these programs that we put together, he's always asking about how you guys are doing and how he still knew some of the guys, and whether he did or not, he goes, I know some of that rubs off with the other guys, and I'm a Patriot through and through, so I'm hoping they go undefeated. But I said, unfortunately, Danny, they can't do that anymore, but you definitely came back and hit one out of the park today and really solidified that you are going to be one of the teams or the team in league play that people are going to be running from.
I mean, yeah, we're just like we've gotten stronger, gotten better, like all around. We've practiced hard, we've grown. Like from like the end of last year was we all knew we could have done better than that. And then we took that over the off season. We worked hard, and here we are. We're stronger. We're
Yeah,
better. We're here.
I think our attitude is a lot better too. I think we had a flip. We had to flip the switch, and our attitude is completely different this year. We just want it all this year. So
And before I forget, how about Mr. Gustin with the touchdown, 20 yarder,
Oh,
and
was it Roman got the touchdown? I might be.
yes,
yeah,
Okay.
he got a 20-yarder and then the PAT was good to make it 34-7 at that point.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but that's correct, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Roman did. Yeah.
Okay, so that might be the 7 TDs right there from today's game with Christian. Great job, guys. I don't want to alarm you, but as a Patriots fan that I am, I look at the schedule here and I see our old buddy Santa Fe Christian next week. Jake, it doesn't matter what's going on with SFC. This is the preseason, the non-league game of the year usually.
Yeah.
They're a tough rival usually, but I think we're gonna be prepared for them this year. It'll be a good game.
Jacob, you've probably seen you've probably seen a few Christian SFC games and played in them.
Yeah, I played in a couple of them. I mean, last year when we won, it was awesome. It was the first time I've beat them, so first time we beat them in 4 years, and I feel like this year we're going straight back to work this week and getting ready to beat them again this year. So
Well, I sure hope so, because you know what, the thing that worries me about that is that series always has a lot of upsets. But you know what I know about that series when I've been watching them all these years about these upsets? The road team usually gets them. So I don't
yeah,
know if we're favored or underdogs. It sounds like a close game actually next week against the Eagles, and I can't wait to see that one. We're going to get them on the road. Dave, you want to hit these guys up before we let them go?
I just,
I got
you
these
know,
touchdowns.
I just,
Oh, go ahead.
it's just so impressive to come off of a game like the one that you guys lost and go back to the drawing board. And really, if you were there watching the whole game, you guys did things so differently. And obviously, you got to switch it up anyway with a different type of quarterback, because nothing to take away from Mr. Wilkins, but I mean, Spencer is one speedy dude. I mean, you got to give credit where credit's due. It's just one of those gifts that he was given. And I was talking to Jake about it earlier. I'm just saying, I'm not saying anybody told me, but I could see Spencer even a possible receiver in the future, and maybe trying some other things behind center, and there could be even bigger things happening over at Christian High. But no birds told me anything like that. So,
Like Coach Dave over here. What does he know? So we right now. I'm sorry, you guys. You guys already probably talked about it. This is how rude it is. You guys talked about maybe Spencer might be one more game. So against Santa Fe Christian, and just like tonight, maybe you can comment on it, Jacob. I mean, I look at these touchdowns. You had two. Hank got one run in there. Brady had a touchdown short run. So the focus was on a bit of the run and pound them a little bit, right? Is that how it goes? How was the balance?
I mean, we did run it a lot. They couldn't stop it, so we just kept going back to it. So
okay. Yeah, it might be different again. I will be different against the Eagles, I think.
Yeah,
So we'll have
of course.
Of course, yeah, we got to pound them, Jake, but we'll probably need to open it a little bit, no matter who's behind center, right, Jake?
Yeah, I think they're usually a well-coached team. They see they're going to see our film and know they'll be ready for the run. So we're going to be ready for anything they throw at us. Though I know they're going to change their defense up and be prepared, but we're gonna get ready this week and we'll be ready.
well, and you just gotta give credit where credit's due. Your second string guy, he stepped up. He wasn't afraid for the task at hand. Yeah, he threw a pick the first game, just coming off that. I mean, that's going to happen for sure. Started this game first thing he does is throw the pick. But hey, like I said before, let's get rid of it. Let's get it out of our system. Yeah. And then from there, you would think, oh, no, they're going to probably run the ball the whole game. But then a 30-yard touchdown here, a 25-yard pass there, 30-yard pass there. I mean, he was throwing the ball around too. So I think you guys probably had all the faith in the world in him too. Obviously, if you're scoring that many points, even with a couple in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we won't keep you guys too much longer. Jake, I want to definitely wish you all the best of luck on your SATs and we all know you're going to get it as far as MIT is concerned. And we'll want to be the first ones to hear when you actually sign on the dotted line. And thanks for coming on. We like to have linemen on here.
Down with Caltech.
And as always, Jacob Moronis, we appreciate you coming on. You're always good for a touchdown or 3 or 4. So we appreciate you guys coming on at the late night and hanging out with us for a few minutes.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys, and great win.
We're going to talk about the game next week. Well, Dave, against Santa Fe Christian. Can't wait. The Patriots tonight, 48-7, crushing Mission Bay Bucks, getting revenge for that loss last year. Jake Eichhorst and Jacob Moronis. Great job, you guys. A great job by you, Dave. Thanks a lot, guys. All right, Dave. Great job by the Patriots, certainly, Dave. I'm trying to thank you for covering that interview as I was trying to get a few more details here. Not everything is just final yet, but we do have a few scores. We can start to talk about, Dave, and maybe you just want to get some of these out of the way. I think you might have watched the entire Holtville Mountain Empire game tonight, Dave, and I don't know if you did because you watched it, Dave. I don't want to.
I will tell you
for the wins here as they kind of roll in, because some of these games were late.
When you have a team like and they had some announcers too, so that helped a lot. When you have a team like that's junior heavy, and you got a first time coach, it's the first year that he's over there, and I mean it's really hard to work with a brand new guy coming at the brand new system. And I mean, to snap, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, to have 5, maybe even 6 snaps that they fumbled in the first half, that we can't do that. We're not going to score any points. We're not going to move forward. It was unfortunate that really the biggest thing on the night was it was Chris Jones for 13-yard run, and that was towards the end of the game. And, of course, let's not take anything away from Holtville. Cuevas is one heck of an athlete. He's got a fantastic arm. He can read the defense. He reads the field really well. He can throw on the run. He's very fast. And he's got a great tight end. He's got receivers that he can just toss it up there, and they're going to be a hard team to beat at their level, and they could very well be champions again. Mountain Empire, I think they got to jive. Maybe they need another year to jive together and win a couple of games. And then, unfortunately, our Braves are going to have to play Holtville next week. I'm sorry, Braves, and while we're talking about that, if you got that up.
Yeah, let me see if I have that final, Dave. I have a few others we can go over.
Let's go to the others, just to make sure.
Yeah, let's go with what we got here so far. This one, I'm getting some requests. They're blowing up my phone. It's just gone final here within the last few minutes. Grossmont with a tremendous win tonight at Mira Mesa. They had to rally late. I don't even know the order of these touchdowns, Dave, but Grossmont, Donovan had a 30-yard touchdown pass late. They also had a short touchdown run, and Grossmont ends up outlasting Mira Mesa in a back and forth game that was 7-6 early. Grossmont had a couple of field goals. Mira Mesa had a touchdown in there, and a really impressive performance here by Grossmont on the road. I'm just trying to get details right now of some of the scoring plays, but I do want to report this one was kind of one of the late finals here. Grossmont 32-28 over Mira Mesa. Do you want to react or you continue on here?
I know that we picked. Hey, did you pick Mira Mesa to win? I believe you did, sir.
I may have.
Yeah. And I said the Hillers were going to throw the ball, and they were going to throw the ball, and then they were going to throw the ball some more. And they scored quite a few points, but to come down to the wire,
it was clutch. It was clutch. It was late.
I really because El Capitan of the opening game against Mira Mesa, because they were able to pretty much handily beat Mira Mesa. I thought Grossmont actually was going to beat him by a couple of touchdowns. So for it to end up like this and them to have to fight for it, could it have been because this one was not on their home field? Very possible. But the bottom line is they got the win, and I'm sure Tommy was flinging it around left and right. Now, we don't know the status of Noah Walker either.
I did see Walker get shaken up in the end zone during the game. I'm not sure if I saw him return. We were covering 11 games, and I just know that these final two Grossmont touchdowns may have come within the last couple of minutes of the game. It was 15-14 also at one point. So Grossmont, they might have ended up trailing that game by a score and then get the win here late, 32-28. I've still got to kind of get the scoring on this one here, but that's just what we saw within the last couple of minutes here, Dave, a final there. So, all right, I got a couple more here for you right now. Maybe we could piece this together. We got a nice final here. Look who did it again, Dave. The Steel Canyon Cougars clobbering the Morris Tigers here, 49-13. John Weaver had a 13-yard touchdown run, at just 2.5 minutes into the game. It was 7-0 Cougars. Morse did tie the game on a 40-yard touchdown pass, but you know what? It was Nico Yara time again. He busted one, 90 yards for a touchdown for a 14-7 lead. Big plays by the Cougars on the night. Also, a couple of more runs. Weaver had a 14-yard touchdown run that made it 28-7. They also had another short touchdown run in the game. Steel Canyon wins again over the Morris Tigers, Dave.
Boy, he's just really making a name for himself. I'm going to have to do it again. You have your thing for your show. I'm going to say that Dreamweaver was he was a hero once again for the Steel Canyon Cougars. And we also saw, I just think I'm going to talk about it. Most people probably say you shouldn't on any type of show, but
I have the edit.
No, just to play that it just this kind of stuff that's on the football field. Some of these players, I don't think they're coached that way. I'm hoping they're not, but just some of these plays that it just the way that they're just picking at these players or throwing them down, kicking them. I mean, all kinds of things. And I saw something in that game that I just didn't really appreciate, and there's no room for those types of dirty players, and I'm gonna call what it is. It was a dirty play.
And the Cougars get the victory tonight. We'll have more on this, on the show here. We'll probably try to join you tomorrow with the Eagles in action. We'll try to clean up some of this right now, but got another final here to report to you, Dave. My Helix Highlanders on the road. Impressive win here to go to 1-2. Beating Saints, a battle of two young teams, definitely struggling right now, but Helix got the upper hand on Saints tonight. It was Stevens in at quarterback for Helix tonight. Helix actually trailed, but Isaiah Pablo Jackson had an 8-yard touchdown run. Davis had a 14-yard touchdown reception from Stevens with 4:15 left in the first half, and then Helix added another touchdown, Pablo a 3-yard run, and a conversion with 7:35 left in the game, and Helix went on to win this one 28-13. Also, Dave, freshman Unique Johnson had a tipped ball interception late in the game that kind of sealed it. Saints were needed. They were down 2 scores, but Helix ends up getting the win tonight over St. Augustine.
2 things. Number one, I bet you if we would have had the camera, I'll bet you anything that Max Turner was on the sideline somewhere. You could find him watching his buddy play tonight since he didn't play. I can almost bet you anything that he was down there and he was cheering for him, especially scoring 2 touchdowns. And I'm going to say, I guess it seems to me that Stevens is going to be the guy for Helix, at least for now.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And when's the last time that if you know that, or if you don't, it's fine. I was just wondering the last time St. Augustine started off at 0.
Oh, okay. I was about to cut you off again. I thought you were going to ask the last time Helix went 0-3. That's why they won, brother. Great win tonight by the Highlanders. Saints actually, Dave, just went through a really bad season a couple of years ago. They were having a little bit of turmoil, and they did start 0-3 back in 2021. That's when they kind of right after the pandemic year, and they just revamped everything from, well, it's a long story. All right, half the people, you guys already know it. Okay, so Helix with the win tonight. Over St. Augustine. Here we go, Dave. It was
much needed.
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
I was going to say much needed for Helix. They lose that game, and they're really digging themselves out of a big hole. But on to Santee.
Yeah, West Hills over Vista, 31-16. Rosalino had a long touchdown reception, 51 yards in the second quarter. From my reports, also a touchdown pass to Kidwell made it 14-0. Earlier than that, Vista had a punt return for a touchdown. West Hills was pretty much in command of this one all the way. Kind of what we felt, Dave, that the Wolfpack would be able to handle a game like this, and they did look pretty darn good tonight.
Well, you remember we talked. Holy cow! Late last night. A late night, even got myself up for your other show this morning. I couldn't last, but anyway, we were talking about it last night that West Hills really needed this game, and we were both pretty sure on the score it was going to be a couple of touchdowns, and that they should have no problem beating Vista. We both agreed on that, so definitely gets West Hills back in the win column. And on to the next one, but getting 31 points scored tonight, that's a good way to get back in the game.
Yeah, indeed. Great job there, Highlanders. Much needed win. You asked about the situation there for quarterback for the Highlanders, and Lee Norman Lester did have a boot of some kind, something there on his leg, I believe. We don't know the nature of it, but he was not available for this game. So you have it
we
there.
Wish him the best in healing and getting back on the field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a little bit different back there for sure with Stevens, but he did do a good job here tonight for sure in the game, and Helix really did a nice job also. defensively in a game that was really kind of tough early on. I mean, it was kind of just back and forth, low score. Both teams, just one score each for quite a while before Helix was able to put them away. Okay, Dave. Another game where you kind of kept your eye on intently, and really one of the bigger stories right now of East County football, the Valhalla Norsemen. It's a win tonight, 21-14, a thrilling game over San Ysidro in this one, Dave. For the Norsemen here, let's see, we have I've got some scoring plays for these guys for sure. I believe Matos, a touchdown reception. I'm going to come up with the roster here too. You were feeding me a little bit of info. I tried to keep an eye on this one. Lorenzo Matos, he was the one that caught that touchdown pass, Dave, in the back of the end zone. Jackson Newman continues to look terrific for Valhalla. They've got a winner there. Dave, and he hit Paul Sacco, my man, with a touchdown pass as well. That one made it 14-7, a 25-yard pass, but San Ysidro came right back and tied the game. However, it was Valhalla with the game-winning touchdown late by our man Marcus McHale. He had a 1-yard touchdown run, and it was set up by another run. I think I was trying to run by McHale. I saw the reception by Matos in the end zone. And like I said, the connection right now between Jackson Newman and Paul Sacco, man, those guys were really clicking out there tonight on offense.
Now, prior to that 1-yard touchdown too, they did have I don't know if it was a face mask, but they did go back 15 yards when they were already, it appeared that they were already at probably the 2 or 3 yard line. And I think it was a face mask, and they had to go back quite a bit. And I think they ran 2 plays after that, but boy, he fit right in there. And the seam, the whole pocket collapsed pretty quickly, but he's a pretty big fella, and he didn't need any tush push or anything like that. He went right in and scored the touchdown. But Valhalla at 2-1, I can say I'm impressed from what I saw, at least 3.5 quarters, as you know, because we're watching all these games all at the same time. I inherited your ability to do it, and I'm not.
It's from your dad, It's your dad. Well, it was a little bit different, but it's nothing unlike hammering the phones with your dad back in the 90s trying to get some scores.
And I was still doing that when I was a couple years ago, when I want to say from 17 to 22, that's what I was doing. I was still on the phone and texting you at the same time I was talking to somebody else, so you had the info. Boy, it's like his aura is around still, and he wants his scores and he wants his reports.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We didn't have texting then. We didn't have texting. We called 7-Eleven, Dave, is what we did, right? And tried to get the scores. But we've got other scores here that we can keep going through as we're almost wrapped up here. I'm trying just a few more. There's kind of outstanding right now, but it was the Mount Miguel Matadors with a victory tonight against La Jolla Country Day. It wasn't as close as the score looks right there, actually, Dave. The Matadors jumped out to a 28-0 lead. It actually got a little bit tight late. First of all, for Mount Miguel, A.J. Stowers to A.J. Logan. I want to see you from 5 yards out, 7-0. The Matadors led. Then Stowers, a 20-yard pass to K.J. Shields, another score for Shields, and it was 14-0. Then Stowers, a 21-yard rushing touchdown, made it 21-0 Matadors. Finally, La Jolla Country Day closed to 21-7 with touchdown 11 to Cesare. I think those are the two guys we mentioned on on our pre-show talking about their weapons a little bit. But Mount McGill was able to get a couple of scores late, including a 35-yard touchdown run from Paris Vernon, and the Matadors win again here tonight. It looks like I'll check the top maybe of the rankings there. I also saw I didn't get it. I don't know if I wanted to say it to him. Santa Fe Christian. I just not one of our teams, but we were talking to Christian earlier. They beat Orange Glen 68-0. I didn't want to. I don't want to. They know how good they are. They know Orange Glen wasn't going to beat them, but didn't need to get the reaction of our boys from the Patriots. But that's going to be a good game next week.
And I know we're on this game right now, but
yeah.
I'll tell you what, the Patriots being back in the league they're supposed to be in, even with injuries, they are able to pull these games out. They pulled this one off, almost scoring 50 points without their first stringer. I mean, you got to hand it to Coach Bug. He put a good game plan, and they executed. These are some pretty smart kids, obviously, MIT. I mean, come on, and he's the
right
GPA. But Coach Verlaine, I hope to hear from you soon because the league is approaching us very quickly, and you just beat one of the better teams out there too. So I'm sure that it wasn't good enough. It was good, but not good enough yet. But hopefully we get you on, Coach, and BJ and AJ and the whole crew here in the next couple of weeks. But great win either way, because they're a very good team as well, being the La Jolla Country Day.
Yeah, no doubt, great win right there for Country Day, or for our Matadors winning this one 35-21. All right, Dave, we got another one coming up here. It was a rough one, Dave. I got to be honest with you. I hung in there as long as I could. Look, there were 11 games. I've only got 6 monitor. I could have. I was watching the NFL game. Cut me some slack here. We knew there were a couple of blowouts possible, but I didn't see this one coming, Dave. And it was Chula Vista tonight over El Capitan. They led early. They led big early and went on for the victory, 35-21 tonight. One point, I think it was either 21-0 or 28-0. Be quite honest, I kind of lost track because Chula Vista was out in front. Chula Vista improves to 2-1. El Cap now 1-2, but I don't think this is something that they wanted to lose on their home field, Dave. It was 35-21 in favor of the Spartans here in this one. Chula Vista had a 90-yard kickoff return. They followed that up with a 53-yard touchdown pass. Before you knew it, it was 21-0. Barker finally a 9-yard keeper to get El Capitan on the board, and they added some late scores there in the 35-21 win over El Cap, Dave.
What seems to be going on? I mean, they started off so promising against Mira Mesa, who wasn't exactly a slouch, and I thought they were going to be, even in the non-league games, I thought for sure they were going to win quite a few of those, and it doesn't appear to be the defense, but now I see 35 points up there. It makes me wonder if the defense was overcome too, and how good was Chula Vista really? I mean, were they that good?
I was stunned that El Cap struggled like they did in that game tonight. Again, they just really the misfortune of just not being able to get any counter scores here early was the key. It felt like in this game, Dave. So we've got to try to get maybe a little bit of information. I didn't really have other than Chula Vista highlight. I guess that's all I could say, Dave. It was a bunch of Chula Vista highlights that I had by the time I left that game. I didn't get the El Cap. The El Cap scoring was late, to be honest with you.
Did you possibly? And if you didn't, I mean, we'll get it eventually. Was there a couple of turnovers on behalf of the Vaqueros? Did they lose?
I thought that Chula Vista was making big plays and made the most of their plays. as well. Also, I wanted to throw in one more thing, Dave. If we get a score, a piece of information, we're going to try to relay it to you. It was back in the unless you have anything on El Cap, I just want to throw in the other. I have the other Mount Miguel score of their game. It was a 50-yard connection from AJ Stowers to Brandon Arrington. So we got all 5 scores there from that game.
I want to go back. You don't have to put the graphic up, but I also heard from some coaches that the Mission, they wanted to mention it, that the Mission Bay players and the Mission Bay parents that came with, that were there at the game, were really pleasant, even though the game wasn't going their way. Very pleasant crowd, pleasant with the Patriot fans throughout the whole game. So that's something you like to see. I mean, it's all a game at the end of the day, and to see something like that, and you're getting beat like that, you definitely like to see some friendly faces out there and going, it's a game, and we didn't play as well, and we lost, and that's just the way it goes. It's not Dave. The NFL.
Hey, you're going to like this next one, Dave, coming up. And really, it was a very nice performance tonight coming out here. Let me update. Let me punch it in, Dave, here as we roll along on a Friday night. It was the Santana Sultans impressively here at home over the Hilltop Lancers tonight. And this one, they were scoring late. We were talking to the Christian kids. I might have missed the last score or two here, but we do have a lot. What do you got there, Dave? It looks like just Ski Prophet's living room and a computer going in and out.
All that is an empty field, sir.
Okay. Oh, it was probably the same color as your green screen or your virtual screen there. I don't even know if I have the scores in order, but I do know that our man Hallman with a couple of touchdowns here. He had a 29-yard run off of a screen pass. You're going to see it on the highlights. It's a pass backwards. It's a run, folks. That's what we always your dad would get so mad when a Cub reporter would come on and call it a pass, but we know it's a run. He also had a real TD run later in the game that made it 17-7 with 7:27 to go in the third quarter. It was a Santana, Dave, led just 10-7 at halftime of this one. So you could see the points they racked up in the second half of the game. Hilltop did have a nice 54-yard run early that tied the game, but in the third quarter, things kind of shifted. You know who got a sack? Freshman Julian Mayer. He was back there again, wreaking havoc for the Sultans. And Santana, they had a 78-yard long pass, a 78-yard pass. I'm still getting the details of the players, quite frankly. They wear black numbers on purple uniform. Doesn't work for me on the NFHS, so I probably need a little bit of help here when we get to with the Sultans and their stats here this week. But then
did we need these for that?
We need those. That's what I need. No, it wouldn't work. The black numbers on the dark purple uniforms. I mean, it just. I don't know. I don't want to. Hopefully that's a look. They look beautiful when you stand right next to a Sultan player and you see that combination. But when you're watching on an artificial intelligence cam, that it ain't gonna work. So. They also had a 72-yard touchdown run that made it 31-14. Hilltop got as close as 17-14 there in the third quarter. But look at the Sultans. They put a number up on them after that. 20 more points, 3 more touchdowns, including those long passes. You were telling me, Ramon, we got Jake and Jacob. We got to get on the air. And I'm like, hold on, Dave. The Sultans are running down the field again.
You know me, when we get some of the guests that we have available and we have them available at that time, it's something I learned from. Hey, shout out to you, Scotty Kaplan, even though you're probably asleep and you've been asleep for the last couple of hours. But
a couple of years? What?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Billy. Anyway, I just think when the grill's hot, you gotta you got to get them on, and they're fresh, and they remember all the plays, and they remember what was going on, just like special teamer Max with that picking up the ball, the big smile on his face. That's got to be something for a kid like that.
So good night for the Sultans here. I am confident in at least the 2 touchdowns that I saw for Caden Hallman early in the game. The first 2 touchdowns basically for Santana. But then as the nighttime falls on the so we'll clean it up. We'll write about it. We'll recap these games again tomorrow, Dave. Here, let me see if I think that's all of them. Here, Dave. Do you want to run them? Do I need to run them down again, or let me?
No,
see.
and
some more scores out of it. Go ahead.
I don't know if you I believe that is what the final was, but maybe we can find out. I know El Cajon, it was 14.
Oh, thank you. I'm so sorry about that, Dave. Let me see if I have that. The Braves actually were doing a pretty decent job against Vincent Memorial tonight, but the last report we had, I believe, was 14-0. So we might need a little bit. Let me see here. I'll check the old Max machine here. Maybe they've got something on it. But go ahead. Oh, did you?
No, I was just wondering if that was the final, because that was the last thing I looked at was the Max Preps.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then we'll just wrap it up, Dave. I don't know if there's any other damage we can do here with this schedule tonight, and I just don't have any other information here. We had to kind of rush on the air to get our guests to get, pardon me, to get our guests together, and I don't know if we're going to get much out of it anyways, but talk about some of these wins here tonight. Pretty good night for the East County. We'll run down them again before we get out of here. In order, maybe here it was Mount Miguel defeating La Jolla Country Day 35-21. The Matadors improved to 3-0, ranked 5th in the county, and they continue to roll by beating La Jolla Country Day here in this one. All right, let's take a look. Dave, you're at Helix. They were able to beat St. Augustine here, 28-13. It was Steel Canyon defeating Morris 49-13 to improve to 2-1. Grossmont impressively over Mira Mesa here, 32-28. El Capitan with the loss. Santana here, Dave, getting some details now on their game in this one. We got Caden Hallman here, 19 carries for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game here, Dave. Also, want to shout out, let me get this one right. I just didn't want to get it wrong, Dave, because, well, when you see kind of a new name pop up, I think they actually may have mentioned this gentleman on the very first show we did with Santana, but sophomore Denton Gore tonight with 4 receptions, including that 78-yarder that I mentioned there, Dave, that made it 38-14 or 37-14. I guess we missed in fact, I did see the PAT, I believe, was blocked in that one, Dave. So awesome performance also here, Dave. But I don't have the passing is listed as number 6 in my stats that you provided me, but the roster doesn't have a number 6. So I do want to compliment Santana on a good passing game overall, 8 of 10 tonight, but won't have the new quarterback in there possibly, unless there's been a change with. I've got to look at it. It looks like number 6 here, so I don't have number 6. And
could it be 9? Because I swear
the stats are upside down. Is that what you're suggesting, Dave?
Well, I just thought I saw 9 in a couple of plays that.
Okay.
But
no problem. We'll wrap it up. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth and get anything wrong. So let's go ahead and get out of here, Dave. A great night with our games. We'll try to clean up some of this stuff tomorrow here in it. I can add, though, let me see here for Santana. I can report Mayors also had a touchdown run here, it looks like, of 32 yards. That must have been that 32-yard. I had a different yardage here, it looks like, in that one. So, yeah, I think that's it for the show, Dave.
And before we thank our sponsors and sign off, just to remind you that tomorrow at 4 p.m. That's 4 p.m. It's going to be the Granite Hills Eagles taking on the Arizona team at Cathedral Catholic. And that's going to be Perry against Perry, a team from Arizona. Should be a great game. Both of them are top seeded teams. Should be, if you're not doing something else, you should definitely get out there and check that one out over at Cathedral Catholic. For the Honor Bowl, I want to say it's the first time Granite has been in it. If not, that it's been quite a while. But then there's always those good old archives that we can look into. Other than that,
in fact, before we get off the air, you mentioned the archives. I was looking up some information about the Eagles. I just want to say this to you. It's really funny. I'll let you do the outro. I'm sorry, but I look back. There was a game in 2002, Dave. Granite Hills and Steel Canyon played. The final score was 6-4. Football game. I mean, I'm serious. It was raining that night, and I think the Eagles won. Go ahead and get us out of here. I'm sorry.
Wow, sounds like they changed baseball real quick. At any rate, we want to go ahead and thank our sponsors, Granite Mortgage, and also thank La Mesa Equipment, and thank all of our assistants out there that help us out in gathering the correct information when we're watching between the two of us, watching 11 games and sharing information. We really appreciate it. And again, all of you out there, if any of you are watching the show right now, we really appreciate it. You send in. It doesn't matter how the picture looks. It doesn't matter how the videos look. We'd be more than happy to have them sent in to us, and we can finagle some editing and put your name on it and add it to the team, maybe on our Instagram site. Other than that, great job, Ramon. Great job tonight, wrapping up some crazy games tonight and some big winners. And for Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens. Have a pleasant evening.